Peace, family. This is Grinder, the Stronger Dad Coach, here with my wife, Jazza Love, and we are Black Families Rising, where we bring the Black family to the forefront. Today, we have another special guest here with us for our segment, Community Heroes. So please welcome our brother, Mr. Juan Lee. How you doing today, brother?
Hello, I'm doing fine. And yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here with us and having this conversation with you.
Yes. Well, you're welcome. I really appreciate you for having me into your family.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
We do. So we're going to just dive on in. We always start off about you introducing yourself to us and the audience that listens in to us, a little bit of who you are, what you're doing, what you represent, where you from, all that good stuff. So just pass it over to you.
Okay. So in other words, just turned into my show and y'all going on way.
No.
Okay. No. All right. I understand. That's all right. That's okay. It's called the Juan Lee Show. Okay. Hi, my name's Juan Lee. I am a transformational speaker, thought leader, author, and the founder and executive director of a nonprofit called Clear Journey, where we basically demonstrate love through education. My journey started, oh boy, I ain't gonna say this like this, but it's probably been some almost 40 years ago. When I graduated from high school and felt extremely lost. I was defeated, didn't have any identity. And I just didn't know where to go. I mean, I had no idea as to how to survive in this thing called life.
Right.
And so the only thing I saw when I graduated from high school with an undiagnosed learning disability. And I didn't get diagnosed until I was officially diagnosed until I was 37 years old. So I'm still living in gravy right now because that was 30 years ago I take that back. It was only 23 years ago that I was 37. Oh man, am I adding that up right? No, that was I'm 56 now. So it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years. And so it's been from that point that I really felt I had some idea as to what my struggle was.
Right.
But it had been a ghost in my life because I was struggling. I was doing one of the things that I've learned over those years is that, I just couldn't give up. I mean, I didn't know what the answers were, but I wasn't going to give up in light of irrespective of how hard it was, I wasn't going to give up.
Right.
It wasn't until I got that diagnosis that I began to get some understanding and some clarity so that I knew how to put together all the things that I'd been putting together to try to get to the point where I could succeed in life. And I did that when I went into the military, when I figured out and learned about systems and systems in general as it relates to how they dictate and determine outcomes. And so I learned how systems work. And then I had to realize who I was and how I fit that system. Because if the system work, it has components in the system. And I had to realize who I was so that I could get into the system so that the system could work for me and everybody else.
Right.
And so my experience in the military taught me systems, taught me to learn myself, to give me my own identity so I could plug myself into the system. And every system has an outcome. And that outcome was based on what the goal was for the system.
Right.
And in the military, the goal for the system was to defend the United States of America. That's the goal. And so in the process of that, I learned that there was a lot of similarities to that particular goal for the military and my personal goal as a individual, as a human being trying to protect and preserve humanity, that love is that system that connects us all together to preserve and protect humanity.
Right.
Right.
And when we operate that system, it never fails. We win, everybody wins when we come together with the same purpose, the same vision, the same mission.
Right.
And humanity gives us all that thing in common, those things in common, that it makes us one very cohesive unit when we look at humanity and how we connect to one another.
Right.
And so that's been my journey. And now it's been my crusade to share it.
Okay. Sounds good. That's great. I also seen that along this journey, for like 30 plus years, you studied different organized religions that also help you come to this conclusion. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, you talk really to the source of what really caused me to take on this particular project. And that was, I've always been in religion. I mean, it goes back, I've been 30 plus years into Christianity. And the things that I saw that we were not getting, it was really confusing, to be honest with you, because on one hand, there was this organization called the church, and then there was the message, and they always didn't connect.
Right.
They didn't always connect. And so for my sake and for the purpose of clarity, I intentionally took that and divided the two. And I said, okay, if the institution or the thing that presents the message is not the same as the message. So the stories and things that were being told about people, I could begin to identify that to the system and not the message. So that I could begin to clearly process the message apart from the process, or apart from the system that was presenting it.
Right.
And therefore came a lot of clarity as it relates to the power of love. And so it was that ability to be able to understand that love is this universal power that connects all of humanity. Yes. Doesn't matter where you are on the globe, we have something in common called humanity.
That's true.
It's the species that we all have that one thing in common. And it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to breathe, you're going to eat, and you're going to clothe. All of those basic things we can agree on.
Right.
That's true.
And so that was it. So that's caused me to look at things in a way. And then in addition to that, in that process, I looked at even the things that I was learning, and it said that love never fails.
Yes.
Love never fails. And so I went on a journey to prove that true. And I proved that it's true because when love is the system, and systems, they repeat, they duplicate, they continue.
Right.
You plug into the system and it never fails until when a component part, they plug another component in and the system continues.
Right.
That's generation to generation. You know, you plug love in this generation, you plug love in the next generation, and it continues.
Right. Continues to recycle.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful message.
So what are some ways that we can implement love more in our daily lives so that we can continue this cycle and replacing the hatred and all this disgusting things that we're seeing in the world now with the love that we need in order to resolve those?
Well, understand that love ultimately is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to choose to engage the system.
That's true.
So one of the things that I'm getting is really beginning to change the dynamics of what people think love really is.
That's
See,
true.
love is not sex. Love is not a relationship. Now, all of those things are a part of it, but it's not what it is. Okay. And so we have so many different definitions as it relates to what love really is. So then when it's motivated out of selfishness, it can change into whatever you want it to be.
That's true.
You know, we can make love be whatever we want it to be because it's really this high intensity feeling towards something. And if it's about something selfish, that's love.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
That's it. But the love that I'm referring to is this ability to act on behalf of another. See, that covers humanity. And in addition, it covers me also and you. So the point of the matter, we fall into that category of humanity, but we got to want to have the motivation to protect and preserve humanity. Without that, it gets skewed, and we deal with the confusion that we have right now. I don't know if you all are quite old enough to remember the song "A Ball of Confusion" by the Temptations.
Yep.
What the world needs today is love. You know, but the only person talking about love now is the preacher. Okay. See, these are the things that we don't understand the full capacity of to develop it, because that's what connects us. That's what's preserving.
Right.
And we don't even, where do you hear about it? Nobody's talking about it because it's so selfish. It's in selfless attitudes. These attitudes that ultimately have benefits to everybody. And we've got to change. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to change our mindset. We've got to change the ability to understand that everybody is important.
That's true.
Everybody. It doesn't matter. You know, that was the message that I learned in the military. They didn't care where you came from, what you did, or we need you.
Yes.
Okay, we need you. And here's the thing. There was nobody that was any more important than the next. You know, whether or not you was a surgeon, a pilot, a troop that was on the front line, a cook, a cleaner, you were all just as important as the next guy. Because I don't care if you fighting in the front line, if we don't bring you no food, you ain't gonna eat. You ain't gonna stay there long.
Yeah,
you're not gonna have the energy to do nothing.
You know what I'm saying? So to say that it's just like during the pandemic, everybody was locked in their houses and stuff, but guess who was out there delivering the packages? Guess who was still picking up the trash? You know, guess who, when you called, the firemen still came.
Right.
You know, it was, everybody was important. And the big people with the blues, the ties and the dresses, they was at home locked down. Guess what? Working on the computer like we're doing right now.
That's true.
Yep.
But somebody with those people that made the very smallest, which we looked at as we thought was very small, were critical to being able to keep this thing going.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And these are the things that we learn. Everybody's important. And when we begin to see value in everybody, then we can begin to appreciate what it is that we all are collectively, and it makes loving them very easy because they have what you need and you need what they have.
That's true.
It's a mindset switch. We've got to really begin. Now, there's a lot of people that think that that's not possible, but here's the thing. All this is a choice. You possess the ability to, when you walk out your door, to choose to love your neighbor.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right. You can choose to love them or to hate them. And like to reiterate on something you said before too, those that do try to speak that message, they try to shut them down, keep them from getting that message out. And that shows the selfishness in the systems that are put in place, you know. But we agree with everything you say. You're absolutely right. It is a choice, and we all need to make, you know, the better choice to love one another.
Yeah, I mean, but I think just being clear and understanding that it's not selfish,
Right.
it's selfless.
Right.
Yes, that's true. So love, I know it's difficult in what I do, for people to love someone else if they don't love themselves first. So
Right.
I think it's hard for people to be able to extend that love because they don't know what love is to themselves. And they're walking around with all this, trauma and hurt and pain, and that's what they putting out because they haven't experienced, love for themselves, let alone for anybody else. And, being taught love, in our households, as well as when we go out in the world and, with school and then church for, most of everybody that grew up in the Black community, you went to church 24/7. I was a PK kid. And all you heard was like the outward love. You really didn't feel it that much growing up, so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, about that first experience with love that we have.
You just walked all up and down why I did what I did. Because that is the root of everything that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And to be able to recognize that and understand that, you hit it on the head. The first thing you got to do is to realize that this is some inside work.
Yes. That's right.
This is some inside work because you're right. You can't give what you don't have. Mm-hmm. Okay. And everybody wants the outcome, but they don't want to do the work to get it. Mm-hmm. And so I say that, and I stress the fact that the name of my book is Love Made Simple. Mm-hmm. It ain't easy. Okay. Let's be clear. It's not easy.
Right.
But nothing is that's worth it. Because what I'm saying though is presenting something that you have never ever seen, and that's the clarity to navigate life. The clarity, the ability to walk through this life, to take this journey and not be wondering whether or not you're taking the right step or not. To know that you have purpose from the very first day. To understand that there's more to this than just trying to see what you can get. It's more about what you can give.
Yes.
That's right.
That's true.
It's about the ability to be, and you've heard it before, it's better to give than receive.
Yes.
But given no explanation as to how that works.
Right.
That's true.
That's the key. You can tell it seems like a little cliche, and then you go, okay, that ain't real, because you have nothing to base it on.
Right.
That's true.
But the fact is that love never fails. And the ability to be able to do that comes from having to have it be assured inside of you that you know who you are. Mm-hmm. You have something to offer. Mm-hmm. And you know how to give it. Okay. And so the first thing to do is that you got to do some deprogramming.
Yep.
That's right.
You've got to ask yourself the very 3-letter word that everybody wants to avoid, and that's why.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yep. That look in
and
the
it's
mirror.
Not about anything on anybody else. It's like, why am I doing and saying and acting the way that I am? Yes. You've got to challenge yourself.
Yes.
That's right.
And be willing to be honest with yourself, because you want to become your best self, your very authentic self. Mm-hmm. See, we spend so much time wanting to be something that somebody else is.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay. Instead of wanting to be our authentic selves. And we don't know what that is for the most part.
Nope.
And then to think that we're out here trying to entice people to be a part of that. Want to have relationship with people and you don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. See, and that's the problem that we run across, and wondering, we're in a very interesting time in our society where we're determining whether or not we want to back down off of some privileges or some rights that the people in America have you're familiar with what's going on with the Roe v. Wade. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is that argument is so misappropriated. It's the wrong message. Right. The wrong fight, so to speak.
That is true.
But they've made this about pro-choice and pro-life. That they're so far apart from each other, but they've made them competing against one another.
That's true.
And it has nothing to do with the real core issue. And it's about being able to love one another and being able to prepare to be able to be a parent.
That's right.
Yes.
It's about preparing and understanding that what you were talking about earlier as about that experiences, mm-hmm. those are children, unwanted children are as a result of children not being loved.
That's mm-hmm. true.
And you can't love them if you don't love yourself first.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So you begin to act out something that you're ill prepared for. And then what are you left with? I got to make a decision. Is this or this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That ain't the argument. That's not the conversation. It's about making choices before you've presented or made the actions that you now have to confront.
That's true.
That's right.
And so we're debating, and it's really interesting because it's not even a conversation. They don't exist. They're not needed to be together, but we're arguing, we're divided again over now something that they had quote unquote solved or had resolved. Mm-hmm. They're bringing it back up again to be divisive again.
That's right. True.
And the irony of that too, like you was talking about parenthood, the irony of that is during this, what they're doing, I don't know if you're familiar, there's a case right now where the little girl that was murdered, and she was telling her grandmother, it's a tape they have where she kept telling her grandmother, I don't want to go to my mother. She had visitations with her. There's a reason why, going back to what you said, why she wasn't in the home with her mother. But she kept telling her grandmother, Grandma, I don't want to go where I don't want to go, call the police. And you can hear her grandmother, she was doing her hair. She was like, well, baby, tell me what's wrong. But she was crying hysterically. And then the next thing you know, this little girl was murdered. Now that goes back to what you were saying. Some people aren't ready to have kids, man. They're just not, mm-hmm. And taking away the choice to say, well, if something happens and you get pregnant and you know that you're not ready, if you're trying to take their choice away, and don't get me wrong, I'm not for abortion, but I do know that there are times when, come on, if something happens to a woman, like she's raped and molested, if it's her, it should be her choice if she doesn't want to keep that child. And not knowing what happened with this lady, but if she had made the right choice, knowing that she wasn't ready for a child, this would have been another life saved. Mm-hmm. Or not ruined in the first place.
But see, it's how the snowball gets rolling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's kind of hard to get to the core of it when it's keep on flipping and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you don't know where the core is.
Right.
That's true.
See, that's why I say, if you wanted to start this, you got to do some deprogramming. Mm-hmm. You got to roll that snowball back up the hill.
That's right.
And that's not easy.
No,
that's not easy, because every time you push it back, you're going to find something new.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find something new. You're going to find something new, and you got to address it.
That's right.
And see, what people don't want to hear is the fact that Johnny mama or Susie cousin molested you when you were 12.
That's true.
And it's not for the purpose of getting Johnny in trouble, but for you to realize that this affected you in a way that's going to negatively affect you in the future.
Exactly.
You've got to get that out so that you can move forward.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we've got too many of those that we're hiding. We're hiding.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest liberating things for me was to find out my diagnosis, that I had a learning disability. because I had, up until then, I was hiding it. Didn't know what it was, but I was ashamed of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and what the military did with me is they was like, here's the thing. I didn't have a diagnosis when I went into the military. I was in the military 9 years, got out, honorably discharged, did all my thing. And then some 6 or 7 years got diagnosed. But when I went into the military, those things that I was trying to hide, they wouldn't let me hide them. They threw it all on the table and said, okay, deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
They was like, we ain't got time for you to get when we need you the most, you come up short. No, we need you to deal with it now. And see, that's what the benefit is for doing this self-evaluation, is that you get it on your terms. You get to do the analysis or the analyzing yourself to the point where I can get this out so that I can become liberated, so that I can have to give who I authentically am.
Right.
Instead of somebody else trying to dictate to me who I am and I'm not being able to measure up. See, that's the value of it. But we don't want to do that. We'll put this mask on and keep this mask on for years on years on years, to the point where we can't give it up. We can't turn it over. We can't acknowledge it because we've got so many things that are strong behind it now that we can't afford to go back and question it.
That's true.
So that's why, you know, the sooner we can get this message to understand that, look, what really love looks like. So because love then begins to change our attitudes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Changes our attitude. See, it ain't no problem to do the work when you know that the results are beneficial. You know that they don't fail.
Right.
You know the result. And the thing about it is, we trying to navigate something that's already been determined. We already know. Look, this system works. It's what humanity is made of. We can't make humanity what we want it to, because we have the ability to destroy it.
We do.
But unless we know what we're doing, we're on a pace to destroy this thing. Let's be real.
Yes, I was going to say that.
We're on pace to destroy it. And here's the thing. The biggest sign for it is division.
Yes.
The division, it will tear it apart.
Absolutely.
So the inside work, and that was the long way of saying, don't run from the work.
Because you can't.
You can't.
Well, I mean, you do, but you won't. You run from it, but you don't know what you're running to.
Right.
That's true.
And you think that where you're running to is going to be better than what you're running from, and you don't give it a shot. Look, when you get to the point where you realize, and unfortunately, what it takes is for you to get to that point where you said, I'm tired of being sick and tired. I mean, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when you get tired of being sick and tired, remember love. It never fails.
That's true.
Black Families Rising will return right after this commercial break. That's a great message. And I seen that you've done a lot of great things, you know, with your nonprofit. I know you got a blog as well. But something real interesting I want to talk about, what we both want to talk about, is the fact that you also at one time taught in a prison, correct? So let's talk about that. We seen you did some great things for those brothers, helping them to get ready to transition back into life on the outside.
And that takes a lot.
I want to tell you.
I do want to add
that takes a lot of love and
love.
patience. So we commend you for that alone. But
and don't get me wrong, I went from maximum security to children. I mean, I went from hardcore prisoners, which they were lifers, and in some case to teenagers. Okay. And the message is the same. And that is, your surroundings don't dictate to your success.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. So even with the surroundings being that it's now, how do I take love to navigate this surrounding? And the message didn't change. It's their ability to want to change their attitude. If they're changing their attitudes in that environment to be able to navigate. So, I mean, one of the questions that I used to ask them when I was there, I said, if you got convicted for whatever you did, we didn't get into the specifics, right. But I said, if you got convicted and you got a 10-year term, let's say you got a 10-year term, and you all of a sudden one day walked up on the gate and it was wide open, would you take it? Would you leave? Mm-hmm. Would you leave? See, your term was you were convicted by the system for what you had been done. Now, if you left without doing your time, mm-hmm. It's a good possibility that you didn't learn what you needed to learn for that minute, for that moment. Mm-hmm. See, the situation don't dictate your actions.
Right.
That's true.
And you've got to understand each and every day is growth. No matter where we are, we want growth.
That's right. True.
And so that's going to propel us and prepare us for the next day. So then don't look at this as a penalty. Look at it as a time of preparation. Mm-hmm. Be better off than you were when you came in. Now, I understand the dynamics. The only other time I've been in prison when I've been doing teaching. I never had crime or anything. So look, to say that the challenges are different there is without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Okay. But this is why love never fails. You've got to be able to understand whatever your surroundings are. Love will allow you to learn and teach you how to navigate it. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
He will teach you to navigate it. And again, when it talks about having relationships, yeah, you need to know who you need to be your partners.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
There's no different inside or outside. You need to know who your partners are, who your connections are.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the major components of love. It's a conduit. It connects us one together.
Yes.
So people that we know that I got their back and they got my back. You need that one really in the prison.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so those are the things. It didn't change. And I tell you, one of the things, 10 years later after I left that, mm-hmm. I was at a restaurant and my server was one of the inmates.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And I tell you, I was so happy. It was such a reward to see him gathering himself and getting himself. And at that point was working. And now it was just, man, that was just the greatest feeling. So it was the ability, the manifestation of understanding that doesn't matter where you started. It's about what's your journey.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's true.
It was a really fulfilling time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's amazing. Well, one of the things that you are saying, and I keep hearing journey, which I'm so happy you're saying it's a journey. And, in the destination, we don't really know yet. It's every day we here on this earth that we're practicing love, in every form, loving yourself, loving other people, loving God, or loving family members. And I appreciate that. And also you're a transformational speaker. Am I saying that correctly? Mm-hmm. I love mm-hmm. that because it is a transformation that has to happen in order for you to be in the place that you're teaching and you're speaking on. You can't be the same. You can't be the same and expect something different.
Right.
Okay. You can't do that. That won't work. So, in order for you to see what you want in the world, you have to be what you want in the world. And I love that. I love that you are a transformational speaker, not motivational speakers. I understand it, but at the same time, it takes more than just to motivate. Me personally, I get motivated for a little time. And then after that motivational speak, I'm back at what I do now. So I love that you're, the type of speaker that you are speaks that it is work. that has to be done, so I did want to just talk about that a little bit. But how long have you been a transformational speaker, and what started you?
Well, it all stems from the book, and the book has only been a year old, going on 2 years. It'll be 2 years in July.
Okay.
But the journey has been 30 years. Okay, so this didn't just happen overnight.
Right.
I wish I could have said that somebody could have told me what I've learned over those 30 years and just plugged it in like I'm giving them now. Like I can give you this information and understand the results are guaranteed. And see, that's the part that nobody gave it to me. The thing that my nonprofit Clear Journey, it's the practical application of love. It's the ability to put the practical applications of love into place and understand that it's not this mystery. Okay. It's not, if you get it, you can apply it. It's like you got it. It's like somebody tell you your name for the first time and you don't have to ask them again what it is. Right. It's yours. It's yours.
Right.
That's how love works. You just, it's who you are. It's not what you do.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So it's more of being.
Absolutely. It's being able to act and put actions behind who you are, and they both are consistent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would say, I know for me and my journey, because I call it my healing journey, and my healing journey, I guess what made me start really looking at myself is when I had children. And I wanted them to be a certain way. I didn't want them to experience the same thing I experienced in childhood. I wanted, the best for them. So, I just thought about, in order for me to be the best for them, or for them, to grow up and be better than what I was, I had to start looking at myself and changing myself. And a lot of times we don't know where to start with that. It's just, and for me, I just thought about, I guess, what my parents did and what I didn't like about that. Okay. What I didn't like about what my parents did. For those that does not have children, how was your process when you started looking at yourself for 30 years? Where did
mine, if I had not gone into the military, I would have probably never had anything to cause me to look on the inside in a very humbling way.
Right.
See, the attitudes that I teach have to do with what love is, the attitudes of love.
Right.
Those are the things that caused me to begin to see, the first few years I was in the military, I was doing everything that they wanted me to do correctly. I was doing very well. But while I was in basic training, I failed one test. And that test, some years later, I realized what it was. The test was a comprehension test. My learning disability is a memory deficiency.
Okay.
It took me a year to pass that test. Not knowing that I had this learning disability. See, here again, not knowing that I had that learning disability. And see, if I had not been forced to work that thing, not even knowing, I would have been hiding it. I would have been continuing to hide it because I didn't do it well. That was why when I graduated from high school, I did everything I could to stay as far away from education. I said, I'm getting away from this. I'm not going back to school because it was so demoralizing.
Yeah.
Because I was frustrated. I didn't do it well, not knowing that was the basis of life, to learn. If you had no ability to learn, your life was max. It was capped. And I wanted more. And I knew that I could, and the military wouldn't allow me. I was looking for every opportunity to avoid it. And the military wouldn't allow me. And not only would they not allow me, they said, I'm gonna throw it on the table and then deal with it.
Wow.
And I had a choice. I could say, and here's the point. If I had failed that test, if I never passed that test in that 1 year, they would have discharged me for that one test. And here's the thing. I, to this day, don't know whether or not I passed that test or not. I took that test 4 times and I only had 4 times to take it. And there was a vocabulary and it was a definition, 2 parts to this vocabulary or to this comprehension test. And I was like, it had to average up to the average of what was needed. And every time I scored pretty high on the vocabulary. It was like really high. But when it came to comprehension, I had to use that to balance it out to get to that point. And I just barely got it to the point where it was sufficient. And that was the last point. And the thing about it was, I don't know if they gave me those points or I earned those points because I learned nothing new.
Right.
My struggle was in the processes, not in the ability.
Right.
And that I didn't understand, but it was from that opportunity that I was not going to give up. I was doing everything that they asked me to do. I did it religious. I mean, I was in I had to do rehab. I mean, what they call not tutor, but I had to go to training over and over. And I did these test classes and stuff to help me because they thought it was the ability to learn or the content or whatever. But mine was something wasn't diagnosed. It was the process. My process was off. I couldn't do it.
Right.
So, but I never gave up. And that's one of the very, very fine characteristics of love is to be tenacious and not give up. That's an attitude.
That's true.
If you can't be willing to give up, that's not an option.
Right.
And that's my journey. So when you talk about people who don't know, we all got weaknesses.
Yeah.
That's true.
We just got to be willing to not be afraid of them, to be ashamed of them. We've got to, because they'll keep you in bondage.
That's right.
I would have never got to the liberty. You would never have seen me today if I still had worries about that. You would have never known this. I wrote that in my book. I've talked on 75 podcasts and I've told people it's in the earth and I can't hide from it anymore.
Right.
But everybody has that weakness. And I say to them, I said, your greatest fulfillment is on the other side of that weakness. When you allow yourself to get past it, you'll be able to see so much clearer.
That's true.
Don't allow your perceived weaknesses to be diminishing your value.
That's right.
It's not that's not your lane.
Yeah, that's true.
So my point is confront it. Do whatever it takes to confront it. Because guess what? It's not only affecting you, it's affecting people that need you.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
That's very true. Well, we're very glad for everything that you've done. We're glad that you took that journey and it led you to where you are, because it is giving you the opportunity not just to build yourself up, but to build other people up as well. And that's why we consider you a community hero. Because anyone that can do that, and for y'all out there, listen, the amount of love that it takes to have to do this. He's talking about a choice. He made a great choice to do this for people. And we commend you for that. We thank you and we love you. So we appreciate everything that you've done.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, that's my, this is my swan song. I just want to share it with the world. I'm not ashamed and I just want to give what I have.
That's it.
That's what it is.
That's amazing. Well, at this point, we just want to give you the opportunity if you have anything coming up or if you want to broadcast. Okay.
See, they didn't see that. I was just. Well, there's a few things that's going on. I want to be able to let people know that they can catch me. First of all, we're going to be having Clear Journey is going to be having a program. It's called Love and Money, Life and Money. I got two different programs working, but it's about a financial. It's a Life and Money. It's a financial management, financial education webinar that's coming up May 25th at 7 p.m. It's a free webinar. All you got to do is go to clearjourney.org. The registration is not up yet. It will be up shortly, probably within the next couple of days. Okay. But you can also go there and just go to Clear Journey 2020 at gmail.com. You can send me an email and we can get you registered that way. But that's coming up as one of the programs of this practical application of love, is to learn the financial literacy, to get financially literate, because that's a big part of this journey. And so we're starting with that on May 25th. I want people to register for that and come out, and it's free, no nothing, just come. Okay. And the other thing is that if you want to participate and help Clear Journey, is to purchase my book. You can go to juanleetheauthor.com and you can buy an ebook there, or you can go to Barnes and Noble or Amazon and purchase the book. It's a easy read, quick read, but it's full of for everybody. It's for every part, every stage of life: teenagers, young adults, young adults, adults, and seniors. So it's a way to navigate life. And the book is about inner peace, contentment, and success at any stage in your life. Also, if I get more time, do I have some more time to share?
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
Thursdays, not this coming Thursday. I don't know when this is going to air, but Thursdays at 1:00, I'm on Clubhouse. Okay. I have a co-host and we're on Clubhouse, and the room is called Agape Love. So come on out, listen, talk, share. We have a good time. And I'm on all the social media. Juan Lee, the author at Facebook, Juan Lee, the author, or Juan Lee author Facebook, Juan Lee author at Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Love Made Simple is my handle at Twitter. And LinkedIn. Check my LinkedIn page out. Okay. Juan Lee on LinkedIn. So I'm all over the place. Come on, let's get together. And by all means, reach out to me. I'm here. I'm sharing. I want to give what I have.
Okay. Well, we thank you so much again for joining us. We really, really enjoyed this conversation. It was so much fun. And we learned some new things about you. So, and then I also want to say thank you for your service. I know you're a veteran.
Yes.
And I do want to thank you for that.
Thank you so
much. I know it's not easy. I'm a military brat. My family is military. He comes from a military background, so we understand.
Well, I thank you, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. It meant everything to me.
That's amazing. And then also, before we end, I did just want to thank you, because that gave me some solace. My little brother's in the military right now. He's in the Navy. So he's away on the ship. So that gave me some comfort, to know he's learning and he's becoming a man. And, and every time we talk to him, we just, we sense that he's different in some way. So that was very, very comforting for me to know, okay, he's okay. He's going to be okay.
He'll be okay. I mean, I don't care if here's the thing, if we buy into the system, mm-hmm. and that's the key, is that we buy into the system. Mm-hmm. The system is there for us all to succeed.
Yes.
That's what it's about. And it was when I realized that it takes a different attitude to get into that system, mm-hmm. so that everybody can succeed. You can't go in there with your own agenda and expect the system to work the way it's intended to work. The system works for the collective good, for the good of everybody. Learn how it works and then imply the attitudes that are needed, and he'll be fine.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for having this conversation with us. And I guess that's going to end it for us.
Yeah, we're going to end it for us. So
wait a minute, I didn't get no prize or nothing. I didn't get no parting gift.
You know what? We are the prize. Love is
okay, the prize. There you go. Quick on your feet. I hear you. That'll work.
Love is the prize.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, family, thank you so much for listening in to us. You know, you can find us on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Apple, everything else. We're everywhere, as well as our Patreon account. You can also follow us on social media at blackfamiliesrising.com and tune in to our community heroes section. And also make sure you go visit his website or go email him and make sure you register for the seminar. It's free. We all need some help in our financial literacy. So please support our brother, Juan Lee. And do you have any comments?
I just want to say thank everybody, and we love y'all. And with that being said, keep striving.
Keep rising.
Peace.
Yeah. Now, yeah. You really got love for me. Can't own a child of God. You know what I mean? Your hands on my eyes, see. Live a little life, no place to be. Free mind. You really got love for me. Let me see what you got for me. Free spirit. Your hands on my eyes, see. Live a little life, no place to be. Lord, I thank you. Love for me. Let me see what you got for me. Check game. Your hands on my eyes, see. Let's get a little life in the place to be. Let's get it. No matter where it's going, live a little life. Stack that paper, be faithful to your wife. And if you lock down, Machiavelli, hold your head. If you lock down, Machiavelli, hold your head. The Don Illuminati all through your body. Watch the word of God blast 12